Hallo und herzlich willkommen. Hi and welcome to the Nürburgring. It's halftime of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship season. So 2 more races to go. Today it's Sunday. It's a sunny day here in Germany in the region of Eifel. We've seen a lot of action yesterday and we're looking forward for lots of more action today here on the grid. We're ahead of qualifying and then of course the Super Pool. Who will be pole setter? Yesterday it was Norbert Kisch for the first race and he won the first race, and second race was led and then won by Lucas Hahn. Such emotional scenes here at the Nürburgring, and we're ready for some more. And ready for some more action is, of course, Chaz Dracourt, our English commentator. Hi, good to see you again.
Yeah, it's fantastic to be back, honestly. I was at Budapest a few weeks ago, but nothing is quite like this here at the Truck Grand Prix. It's an amazing event to be a part of.
Over 100,000 or over 120,000 fans attending this weekend. I've seen that you've been on the pace truck with Frank again. How is it to ride on the Nürburgring?
It's amazing. You know, it's such a legendary circuit, even on just the Grand Prix part as well. It's just a beautiful place. There's so much up and down undulation that you don't really see through the camera. Being on board with the Iveco as well, with Frank the Tank at the wheel, you know, it's an amazing, amazing experience. We were 2 wheels over some of the curbs. He was really throwing it around, but that's what he's there for. You know, he's a fantastic driver.
He is absolutely a fantastic driver, and I'm so sorry that you missed the press rides. I will show you some pictures right now. We can't see them here, but please show the pictures that I took a press ride with Theo Calvé and Norbert Kisch. And as you said, it's a different experience, but also kind of the same experience, because I thought the onboard perspective we show our audience is quite near to that experience, just the rumbling and what you feel personally. If you've been shaken around, that's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, the fact we have onboards in the championship that are right at the front of the cabs in a lot of these trucks, you know, you get right up close and personal with the action, but nothing quite replaces being thrown about in the cab, like you say. I mean, the rumbling and the bumping around is just amazing. Even in the road truck, or like the more close to the road version of the Iveco compared to the race trucks, it's just insane how much they move around. But these drivers are all amazing, you know, they really know what they're doing.
Absolutely, and the middle console, I can tell you, it's heating up. That's the difference also. So you can imagine if there are 30 degrees or something outside, it really is an oven over there. So that was quite an experience as well. And if you're ever able to do a press ride or some kind of a VIP ride, I must admit something. I trained my neck 2 days before that because I knew that it should be stable, shouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I've got to train my neck to carry all these chins, to be fair, these days. But yeah, there really is a lot of forces involved. A few years ago, I was lucky enough to go out in a GT4 car around a local track in the UK called Donington Park. And the first time the guy hit the brakes into a hard chicane, I headbutted the dashboard. And you really have to have really strong neck muscles to put up with the forces, even in the racing trucks as well. So yeah, it's perfectly understandable.
Yeah. And it's good to see this is a really, really sport. So you need to train and you need to be fit and to concentrate for over 30 minutes in the race truck. This is amazing too. I've been there for like 3-4 laps, and yes, I could feel how you need to concentrate and to focus on finding your line, finding your way, see all the opponents around you. And there's this small chicane here at the Nürburgring, and I thought, how will that be if there are like 3, 4, 5 trucks entering at the same time? You saw that yesterday.
Yeah, it's an amazing little chicane, actually. There's 2 layouts to it. So some of the other championships we have here this weekend use the longer, more sweeping version. But when I saw that the trucks are using the very, very short and tight version of it, I thought this is going to be fantastic to watch. But there's some big, nasty curbs there as well, which can really, I mean, they even scare some of our drivers. And, you know, they're big, tough drivers. But still, it's a fantastic part of the circuit and a good overtaking opportunity as well. And there's plenty of them around here.
Absolutely, and what I love about truck racing is the first race, so the grid is set up by Super Pole, for example, but the second race is with a reversed grid, so lots of overtaking action. And I think race 2 was one of the best races I've seen this season, technically, and also from the fighting, from the races. It was amazing.
Yeah, some of the battles were absolutely incredible. You know, we had 6 trucks for the lead at one point, with Lucas Hahn holding off all of them, Alberthetti and Steffi Helm in there as well, all doing an amazing defensive job. The defense put in by Jochen Hahn on Norbert Kisch was just insane. You know, they were so close to fighting all the time. There was always a move going on or some defensive manoeuvres, but there was no contact really. There was a tiny touch here and there, but it was nothing malicious. You know, these are 5-ton massive trucks. You know, there's always going to be a little bit of contact. There was no hard feelings between them, and they both loved it, you know, and so did we watching it. And I mean, the main talking point was Lucas getting that win. You know, what an emotional thing. We were both in pieces, weren't we, when he won? It was amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and it's just because how he told us how his emotions were, and also the remembrance of Connie, the beloved grandfather, was unfortunately with us anymore. But he said he will be watching us right now, and I think he did. And that's what was one of the best scenes I've seen so far in this championship. It's halftime. Also, Norbert Kisch told us that he needs the points. Race one is always 20 points for him, and also he's really the crack on the track. So his times are amazing. Best lap time also yesterday.
Yeah, he was nearly a second clear of Adam Lachko yesterday. And I mean, Adam had a great qualifying session anyway. You know, he was right up there, and it was good to see him on the front row again. But Norbert's just got something else at the moment. You know, we're seeing a performance similar to what we saw in 2015 when he absolutely dominated the championship. I think he won something ridiculous, like 19 out of 24 races. And we're seeing a similar performance this year from him. You know, the other guys have really got to step up their game to try and catch up to him. So I'm excited to see if anybody's made any progress today, but I think it's going to be another Norbert Kisch pole position.
Absolutely, and you're going to commentate that. You need to go to your working space right now.
I do, yeah, but thank you for having me. I'll see you soon.
Yeah. See you soon, and we'll hear you soon. Thank you very much, Test Record. It is so many manufacturers also on the grid. We've got 19 starters and some race-by-race entries, and it has been a good day for Iveco yesterday. So Steffi Halm was on the podium as well, and as you can see here, she told me that they worked hard on the setup, and it really worked out very well. And we remember that she took away 2 wins at the Nürburgring recently, or in a couple of last years. So also for Steffi Halm, a great achievement. And also we see some new faces on the grid, which is always really good, like Emma Mäkinen, the Finnish race driver, and she's with the team Schwabentruck and also doing a great job over here, getting some experience with the help of Steffi Halm, of course. So this is good to see some new faces. Some race-by-race entries we already know, like Luis Requenco, for example. But yes, we do see lots of good faces over here, and we hope everyone will get technically through, because yesterday we also experienced that some of the races could not finish this race. And one was because due to a spring that broke. So yes, as Chas mentioned, there was just small contact, but sometimes small contact can also be very tough on the tracks. So this is the track right now here at the Nürburgring. We do see the famous AMG Arena here at the pack. This is just amazing to be here on the soil, on the Eifel. And as you can see right now, there's Norbert Kisch, the leader of the pack, lining up right now. They're entering right here the pit lane. This is really cool to see, because they've been practicing this morning, and as you can come to the racetrack, you'll also see the trucks rumbling and hear the trucks rumbling, and right now it's time to focus and to concentrate. So this is Jochen Hahn there, and Adam Lachko. He's doing, as Jess said, a great job this weekend with the podium as well. And let's do not forget the Promoters Cup. We had Calvé, Lucas Hahn also as well there, because he said, Calvé, I've been away right now from the black clouds. As you imagine, he had a rough time during the last race weekends, but right now he's back on track. And I am so curious, Chas, who will be pole setter right now, and of course who will be after the pole setter, because maybe we will Norbert Kisch again. Let's be honest with each other, because he's right now in such a good mood. And I think you're in a good mood too, and you're back on your seat right now, aren't you?
Yeah, feeling very good indeed. Yeah, it's not a long run or a long walk even back to where my commentary position is, but it's nice to be out in the pit lane this morning. I should have packed my sunglasses though, because it's very bright out there. The concrete is almost white out there in the pit lane, but still, it is fantastic to be back for the final day of the 2022 International ADAC Truck Grand Prix here at the Nürburgring. And I hope you are all ready for some wonderful action once more. Everybody is just about calmed down from the incredible moments that we saw yesterday, where Lucas Hahn took his first ever win in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. They were incredibly emotional scenes, with Jochen and his son having a wonderful embrace as well, and really sharing the fantastic emotions and memories that come with everything involved in this championship. The green flag is waved at the end of the pit lane, the lights are on, and everybody makes their way out onto the circuit. Norbert Kisch leads the field away with Jochen Hahn behind him, and then Adam Lachko in third out of the whole train that makes their way through. It was a great victory in the first race of the day yesterday for Norbert Kisch from pole position. Adam Lachko finished in second place and he started there as well. But the main talking point was Sasha Lenz dropping out of that first race with a broken spring on his suspension, which was caused by a combination of things, really. There was a little bit of contact early on, and then he had a big drop down onto the apex of turn 1 later in the race, and that eventually caused the spring to snap. But he's back out on the circuit today. He had a bit more contact with Shane Brereton yesterday as well during the second race. They got very argy-bargy with one another, but it was certainly exciting to watch. And the whole race yesterday, the second race, was just amazing. So much fun, so many battles and great positions being swapped all over the place. But there is your reigning champion and current championship leader, Norbert Kish. The big, beautiful Revège Racing MAN is bound to be the truck to beat again today. There's Jochen Hahn. Following him, Adam Lachko, Antonio Alberthetti, just weaving and getting some heat into his tyres. I spoke to Tim Frost briefly yesterday with some of his wonderful guests that they have down here this weekend with T-Sport. But now they've got an absolutely massive amount of people coming down to support them, as do a lot of these teams. But T-Sport Banau, one of many teams in the paddock that really they look after me very well. They're really nice to me, the T-Sport Banau guys. And I was chatting to Tim, and he was explaining that they had a really good day yesterday. They were really pleased with Antonio's performances, 4th place in the first race, and then, of course, a podium, 2nd overall in the second race. That is not a bad day at the office, certainly helping his championship charge. Speaking of championship charges, Jochen Hahns has been reignited. He is now ahead of Sasha Lenz in the overall standings, only by 2 points, mind you, but still, he's ahead. It's like I said yesterday, with thousandths of a second involved, you could be faster than somebody by 1,000th of a second. Doesn't matter if it's a thousandth or an entire second, you're still faster than them. So as you can see, everybody's slowing down here and trying to get a little bit of fresh air on the circuit, just to make sure that they've got the space around them to fully go for it on a qualifying lap at full speed. And Norbert Kish is once again the first one to get to a lot of these corners. Round turn 2, you can see him holding the brakes around there, trail braking to get the truck turned in. Use the brake bias to your advantage in these things. They have a lot of roll about them, but they're still a lot more stable and a lot more flat than your average road trucks. It's only natural physics that the top of these things tend to roll around quite a bit, but there was a gorgeous shot there from the inside of what is the exit of the Mercedes-Benz arena into the tight right hairpin, just before what would be the left-hander onto the Grand Prix circuit down at the Valvoline Curve. And Norby once again looking good at the moment. He's done a purple sector 1, 57.7, 58.1 and 58.0 for Hahn and Lachko, 58.4 for Alberthetti, 58.2 for Steffi Halm. Looks like Norby has got a good 3 or 4 tenths of a second through just the first sector alone on everybody else. 58.9 for Andre Kurzim. And another 58.9 for Jamie Anderson as well. Jamie was really looking to hit that reset button today. I actually spoke to him after the race yesterday, and he wasn't too frustrated. You know, he just said, as he did in his interview with Christina after the first race yesterday, that is racing. That's just how it goes sometimes. And he was very level-minded about it, was Jamie, and he was saying that it's not when he has a good kip that he does well in races. It's when he's not not slept very well and he's been working through the night. That's often when he's better. So the first time on the board then from Norbert Kish is a 153.908. Jochen Hahn does a purple sector 2 and purple sector 3 to do a 154.183. So he's not far behind him. 54.5, 54.4 goes on the board for Steffi Halm. She goes ahead of Adam Lachko and Antonio Alberthetti by a good few tenths of a second. Theo Calve outdoes Alberthetti now as well. Kurzim goes on the board in 7th position. But Jochen Hahn not far off Norby in that opening lap. Lucas Hahn goes 8th. Jose Rodriguez goes 9th. Clemens Hecker is next up in 10th. Emma Mäkinen puts her time in, goes 11th. We've got more and more times coming in now. Stefan Faust, Shane Brereton also putting a time in. Shane having a bit of a tough day as well yesterday. I was speaking to his wonderful team in the afternoon. And I was also speaking to Steve as well, who was telling me that they nearly ran out of body panels yesterday because there was contact on all 4 corners of Shane's truck. And as we all know, with the weight of these things and the body panels themselves, they do tend to break away a lot more easily so they don't cause further problems. And oh no, that is Jamie Anderson off at the side of the road. What on earth has happened there? Now there's gravel on the circuit in the background that seems to have been kicked up. I'm not sure if he's just run wide or something, but that's not body language that says that he's going for another fast lap here. There's some big issue going on there. That's a huge shame. Jamie at the moment not in a position to have made it through into Superpole. He's not put a valid time in on the board yet. Sasha Lenz is down in 12th position as well at the moment, which is a big surprise, but I imagine Sasha will try and get going ASAP for a fast one. Now, it looks like there's some sort of leak or issue that the guys are looking at here in the engine. Is it possibly something behind? No, they looked like they were looking at the tyres then from behind, looking at the front wheels. Maybe at the suspension assembly or something, but they're looking at the oil levels here as well. And checking everything out. I believe that might even be the coolant. Apologies. But this is the thing with these trucks, you know, everything is so accessible in the back of these machines. You can literally stand inside the rear of these things alongside the engine. Teo Calve coming into the pits early on. He might be pretty confident with that lap time. You know, we do often see this in the first qualifying session, that a lot of the drivers and teams, they'll put a lap on the board, and if they're happy enough with it, that is what they will just keep. They won't try and go back out and further improve. Anthony Janiek seems to be going slowly down towards turn 1. I think he may be just getting everything back to how he wants it before going for another fast lap. But Norbert Kirsch, Jochen Hahn, Steffi Halm, Adam Lachko, Teo Calve, all in the pits at the moment, the top 5. Everybody else probably knows that they might be at risk being in the lower half of the top 10. It's the top 10 that go through into Superpole. They have another shorter 10-minute qualifying session to determine their final grid positions for race number 3 of the weekend. And just a quick word as well on the actual trucks themselves. They all run on 100% renewable HVO diesel, so it is really sustainable fuel and a sustainable racing championship. And it is at the forefront of modern racing technology, which helps provide the industry with what they need as well to go forward. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So you can see there, Andre Kurzim is also in the pit lane. He's currently 7th in qualifying, so he's confident that he's going to make it through as well. And there is Jamie Anderson's team. Jamie's got his helmet off. I think it's game over. Must be game over for him, as Antonio Alberthetti has improved his lap time and he's gone up to 5th fastest. He's just done a 1:54.562. Still finds himself 6.5 tenths off Norbert Kish. There's Stefan Faas coming across the line. Stefan and the Tankpool 24 team have an amazing truck down at the Mullenbach-Schleife, which is where all the partying was going on last night. And, oh, Jamie Anderson is catching up with Christina down there in the pit lane. Over to you, Christina.
Yeah, absolutely. What's happening? Do you need to quit or can you continue?
No, we're finished out of qualifying. We seem to have power steering pump failure. So we not complete a lap, so we start from the back again.
It's a bit of bad luck this weekend. How do you keep your mode up?
I don't really know at the minute. We'll... you know, this is one of the things, it's mechanical. What can everybody see, can do. It's worked perfectly fine this morning, and then it just decides to pack up. It's one of those things at the minute.
Are you able to fix the problem right now, or how do you compete then?
Yeah, so we're going to have to quit from qualifying, go into the tent, rectify it for race 1, so we start from the back of the grid. We had a fight yesterday, you know, with a problem on the start, and then we fought again from the pit lane, and now obviously we're going to have to do the same again. He's not good for the championship for us, and to show our pace, it's not helping.
Absolutely not. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you.
Good luck. Absolutely devastated, of course, Jamie Anderson, because he had a run and he was really successful. And right now, that's not what he wanted to be here.
No, and I mean, a big event like this as well, this is arguably the most important event of the season for a lot of these drivers and teams. You know, this is the place to really show off what you've got. This is the Truck Grand Prix at the end of the day. And after an incredibly successful weekend at the Slovakia ring a few weeks ago, Jamie winning all 4 races there, getting an outright victory as well in race number 2. This is a stark contrast to what he's had to put up with. And unfortunately, the truck is not behaving itself this weekend. They had the coolant issue yesterday after the tyre had already gone down because of contact. And then today, well, they have the power steering pump failure. And, I mean, you need the power steering in these things. It is so difficult to drive without them. People always say that, you know, it's easy to drive a car without power steering. It's just a little bit heavier. But in something like this, with the amount of forces that are going through each and every tyre, and the entire vehicle itself as well, and all of the components attached, it can really be a workout. I mean, it's a workout without the power steering anyway. You see the drivers at the end of the race, you know, they really have to work them hard. So hopefully we can see Jamie in top form a little bit later on when we get him back out on the circuit. It looks also like we do not have the number 15 machine with us in this race as well. That's Erwin Klein van Nagelvoort. And it seems like whatever his issue was yesterday that he had, which is that humongous streak of sand and fluid into the final corner, was the final nail in the coffin for Erwin's weekend, unfortunately. We might still see him out in the race, you never know. Sasha Lenz comes into the pits after going 3rd fastest, so that's a great improvement for Sasha. He'll be happy to start from 3rd, I imagine, but we still have Superpole yet, so he's not going to use up all of his tyres to try and get further up the order. There is the big man himself, Jochen Hahn, the absolute superstar that is. He's going to be pretty chuffed with 2nd place. Only, like I say, 0.2 of a second off Norbert Kisch's time. Norby was supreme yesterday, qualifying nearly 0.9 of a second, or over 0.9 of a second, faster than Adam Lachko, who currently finds himself in 5th place. So he's having a little bit of a contrast himself to how yesterday went. This is Jose Rodriguez that we look at now, the number 14 machine, right on the cusp here. All it takes is for one of the drivers behind him that are only a few tenths off to improve a little bit, and that will push him out of the top 10 and out of Superpole. It looks like this isn't a full speed lap from him. I think he's just circulating at the moment to make sure he is still out on track. Should anybody improve, he can then try and re-improve his own time. This is the man just outside of the top 10, Shane Brereton, the number 17 Apollo Tyres TOR truck racing team MAN. The purple really works on that, and they absolutely nail their branding as well, I have to say. The team and everybody that supports them are very easy to spot. All of them wearing the beautiful purple gear. And like I say, all of them doing an excellent job. So Shane hard onto the brakes then into turn 1. It looks like he might have another cool down lap here. He's gone past Clemens Hecker. You can see the steam coming off the brakes. They apply water directly to the brakes to keep them at a decent operating temperature. They usually operate around the 450 degrees Celsius mark. So they need to keep them from going too far over that. Otherwise they get what's known as brake fade, where you basically stamp on the brakes. They're too hot, you don't get the adhesion that you want, and it will just not slow down. It'll feel like somebody sprayed oil on your brakes. That's Clemens Hecker in the beautiful Scania that they're racing this season, the number 25. He always seems to have his headlights on. We were talking about this the other day, but he always seems to have the lights on. They've got these humongous LED lights in the front near the windscreen, or just inside the windscreen, I should say. And I've had a message, actually. I've just checked as well. Thank you to Nev from Smart Witness, who provide all of our judicial review cameras inside the cabs of all of these trucks and help the stewards make their decisions and help give a very close-up view of the action. Nev has messaged me and said that the number 15 will not be competing today due to the fact they have a large hole in the engine. So clearly the problem was massive yesterday. We could see the amount of fluid that came down. There was a big trail of fluid going through the entire paddock as well, and lots of sand and cement dust put down to soak all of that up. Here is the beautiful Mad Croc Energy Iveco from Team Schwaben Truck, driven by Emma Mäkinen. She's making her debut in the championship this weekend. The Finnish driver has been competing a lot over in her home country, racing in the V1600 Finnish Championship. She raced in that from 2014 to 2018. She got 3 podiums and a race win during her time there. She's raced in a lot of touring cars, and she's even won the National Endurance Cup in Finland as well. And some of you may recognise the surname in one way or another. It's not Tommi Mäkinen, as in the rally driver, but in fact Mika Mäkinen, who is a long-standing truck racing driver as well. Shane Brereton comes into the pits. He's made it inside the top 10, knocked Jose Rodriguez down with that previous lap. Doesn't look like there's any improvements coming through from everybody at the moment. Just waiting to see if any personal bests go on the board. Louis Requenco does a 2:31, so that's clearly just a slow in-lap. Anthony Janiak and Stefan Faas, I believe, have gone back out on the circuit, although it said they were in the pits a moment ago. There's Jose going for the line with Lucas Hahn, yesterday's race winner, just behind him. And here, once again, is Clemens Hecker. Love the design on this number 25 Scania. The Hecker Racing team with a very unique colour scheme. It's a very dark red, isn't it? It's not the sort of usual mid-red that you'd expect, but the 2 different tones with the white highlights really working well. And Clemens is always improving. He's always getting quicker and quicker. He's had a few issues this season with the black smoke rule, which we often see enforced in the championship. Basically, there are Lambda sensors now within the exhaust systems that detect the mixture of the emissions coming out of the truck, and if there are certain measurements that they consider harmful or not with the ethos of the championship being so green and clean, then they will get a warning, or they'll get a black and orange flag, and they'll get told to come in and sort it out. Somebody that's really going well at the moment is Steffi Halm. She's currently in 4th position. She's got a podium yesterday, and she's half a tenth quicker than Antonio Alberthetti, who is only 20 thousandths quicker than, sorry, Adam Lachko should have said, who was only 20 thousandths quicker than Antonio Alberthetti. Teo Calve leading the Promoters' Cup. Lucas Hahn's made it into the top 10 at the moment as well. He's 9th overall. Shane Brereton just behind him. Now, Anthony Janiak seems to have pulled in front of Louis Requenco there on their lap. Anthony in the bright, very bright yellow Lion Truck Racing machine. There it is coming towards us. Louis' wing mirror seems to be hanging off slightly at a strange angle. Maybe that's just how they've set it up. But the 2 of them hard on the brakes into turn 1. Keeping it nice and tidy through there. You can't abuse the track limits on the outside. It's very easy to run wide out of there and just push that little bit too hard, and the understeer will take you way, way out wide. We've got 90 seconds of this session left to go. And it is Norbert Kish on pole, with Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz right behind. Steffi Halm, Adam Lachko, Antonio Alberthetti, Teo Calve, Andre Kurzim, once again very under the radar, with Lucas Hahn 9th and Shane Brereton in 10th. We still have the rest of them: Rodriguez, Janiak, Requenco, Faas, Hecker, Mäkinen and Kirsch, all still out on track, hoping to be able to improve. And I think Louis Requenco has decided to abort this fast lap. I'm not sure whether that had anything to do with Clemens Hecker being on the exit of the corner he was coming out of, but still, looks like he has abandoned this one. And Janiak continues to push on. He's not improved in the first sector, though. Have to see what sort of time he's done in the second sector as he comes up to break the beam just now on the brakes into the chicane. He's done a personal best sector 2, a 29.3, which is matching what Shane Brereton did. Into the last corner he goes, hard on the brakes, the nose dives down. Manages it nice and tidy around the final corner. Stamps on the loud pedal and floors it all the way to the line. Is it an improvement for Anthony Janiak? Can he get inside the top 10? His time is not showing up for some reason. There we go, 1:56.235. He does improve with another personal best at the end, but he's still 2 tenths behind Shane Brereton and will not make it through into Superpole. It was a great final effort from Janiak to improve. He improves his overall grid position for the start of the race, but unfortunately will not get into Super Pole. Lucas Hahn does a 1:56.4 on his final lap. That is not an improvement on his best time. Jose Rodriguez improves and puts Janiak back down a position. He's even closer to Shane Brereton, 0.17 of a second. He's only 36 thousandths faster than Janiak. Across the line goes the number 32 of Stefan Kirsch. He did a personal best Sector 2, but does not improve his lap time overall with that final effort. And we're just going to throw down to Christina. She's trying to find some guests to talk to, apparently, but there are not really many people around, Christina.
Yes, that's the life of a sports reporter as well. We've been looking for Erwin. Erwin, are you here? Hello. So no one here in the paddock. You see the truck stand still. That's not the sound we want to hear. But I think we're looking for Erwin, and maybe we're going to find him. So yes, unfortunately we can't see him there competing in the qualifying, but maybe we'll have a chat later. So a nice still be waiting here.
Yeah, it's like you say, the life of a sports reporter isn't always the easiest, because you have to go and find the people to speak to, and yeah, even in a racing paddock as well, as friendly as this, the drivers are often very I never think of the word, but they always run away. Basically, they are very hard to find. Still, beautiful weather here this morning at the Nürburgring. Fantastic look over at the very top of the hill, overlooking the entire place, and I imagine the view from up there is absolutely second to none. It's a beautiful thing. And the circuit itself is a beautiful thing as well. This Grand Prix circuit is really, really demanding. And you've actually found Erwin now, have you, Christina?
Yes, we did, thanks to the team effort also. Erwin Klein-Nagelfeld, good to see you here, but not so good to see you in front of a truck which is not running. What happened?
My engine broke. It's damaged a lot, so I cannot fix it at this time. We don't have a spare engine now at home, but it's not ready yet, so it's finished.
Yeah. So finished completely for the weekend then?
No, absolutely. There's a big lock in it, so big hole. We cannot fix it.
That's so sad. We wanted to see you compete again, and you've won the Pro Go and Stop challenge. Let's do not forget that. And you entered the competition by driving those Go and Stops. How did that happen in the past?
When I was 18, we get with the amateurs, the Go and Stop, and then that was start for fun. And then after a few years, I got an old race truck to buy, also for the Go and Stop, but then you go further and you get a license, and now we're 30 years further.
So, but unfortunately, it's just the stop and not the go this time. Yeah. Will we see you back again in the championship as a race-by-race entry?
Next year. I want to drive in Zolder, but a Dutch challenge. And then for next year, I want for sure a year at the Nürburgring. And then the rest, I don't know.
We're really looking forward. You've been there at the stands. How is it now as a spectator? I know your heart is bleeding, of course, but at least a little bit of fun seeing all the spectators back in such great venue here at the Nürburgring.
Yeah, I can see now how the others drive, especially the chicane. It's a lot of problems there yesterday. So that's for me also good to learn, but driving is better.
Absolutely it is, of course. Thank you very much for coming around, Erwin.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Christina. Great to speak to Erwin. A real shame that we're not seeing him out on track yesterday, but as was rightly pointed out there, he did an amazing job in Go and Stop on Friday and took the victory for the pro drivers in their race trucks. It was great, great fun to watch that, honestly, and I cannot recommend that enough. Even if you only come down to the Nürburgring for the Friday, come and watch Go and Stop. It is amazing fun, really is. We've got 15 seconds left then before the Super Pole session gets underway, and the trucks are making their way down towards the end of the pit lane now and absolutely shaking my commentary box to pieces. The noise these things make never gets old. They're massive 6-cylinder turbocharged diesel engines, usually around 13-litre engines, make up to 1,200 horsepower and over 5,000 newton-meters of torque. Yes, 5,000 newton-meters. It is ridiculous how powerful these engines are. I always joke that whenever these drivers put their foot down and apply full power into the circuit, they move the Earth a little bit further away from the sun every time. They are so, so powerful. Complete powerhouses of racing machines. So everybody making their way out now, one by one. They usually make their way out in the order in which they finished the first qualifying session. And then they do not have anywhere near as long to sort themselves out around here, because it is now just a 10-minute session, and with a lap being nearly 2 minutes, they only get a couple in throughout this one. So around the Mercedes-Benz arena, everybody will be just making sure the temps are all right, making sure the truck feels exactly how they want it, because it's amazing how much it can change between a couple of sessions just over the course of a minute or so. And Norbert Kish is going to be looking for another pole position this season. He's been on pole in every single Super Pole so far this year. I said to Christina earlier that it's a 2015-esque performance by Norby, and it really is. And he won 19 races in 2015. 19 races. Unbelievable. He's a triple champion of the ETRC now, 2014, 15 and 2021. Of course, the reigning champion at the moment. He's won Clio Cup Hungary in 2006, and he's double Seat Leon Cup champion as well, 2007 and 2008. He's had a fantastic career, has Norbert Kish so far. And at 37 years of age, he's still got a lot of time that can be spent in these machines as well. Take Antonio Albacete, for example. I'm not calling him old, but he's having an amazing time still. He's still winning races. He's still getting podiums, even at 57. He's an amazing guy, is Antonio, as I keep saying as well. He's a legend in Spain and a legend all around Europe in motorsport. So, the HVO, 100% renewable HVO-powered MAN of Revache Racing makes its way up to the final corner. Norby throws it in, really opens up the last corner and gets his foot down to get a lap started here around the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. We're using a slightly shorter version of it this weekend, with the Mullenbach-Schleifer being used for the truck show and the massive celebrations that go on here. The fireworks display last night was a once-in-a-lifetime thing to see. Absolute bucket list item if you're part of the industry or a fan of the championship. But Norby now is going to attack this lap as hard as he possibly can. It's the first lap out in Superpole. The tyres are at the best that they're going to be in this session. So he needs to work very hard and not make mistakes. Norby is not really a driver that does make mistakes either. He's so, so potent, so capable in that truck. And look at it through there. Look at the attack that he's giving it on the exit. Looks brilliant. Hard onto the brakes, into the right-hand hairpin. Look at how much it leans on that front left tyre. And this is looking like a solid lap from Norbert Kish. He's done a purple sector one, of course, being the first truck through, but a 57.4 is a lot quicker than we've seen some of them do before. A 57.8 comes in from Jochen Hahn, 57.9 for Sascha Lenz. So Norby's got half a second in the first sector alone on some of these guys, and he's a second faster than Steffi Halm. Adam Lachko does a 57.8. Antonio Albacete does a 57.9 as well. So some of them doing almost what Norby's pace is in the first sector. He's come through the final chicane now. Jochen Hahn is the next driver up behind him. And Jochen just runs a little bit wide out of the chicane there. It is a curved exit, actually. It always looks like it's going to be completely straight when you get out of there, but no, it does sort of curve round slightly. Kish crosses the line then. What is the lap time? He does a 1:53.2. That's a solid, solid time, is a 1:53.2. Wow, really good stuff from Norby. A 1:53.8 goes in from Jochen Hahn. 6 tenths down, 53.881 from Sascha Lenz, 35 thousandths of a second between the two of them. Steffi Halm does a 1:54.8. And the times continue to come in Superpole. One driver, unfortunately, that hasn't made it through to Superpole has made it down to the paddock for an interview with Christina, though. Emma Mäkinen joins her.
Yes, we welcome Emma Mäkinen to the championship. It's good that you're here. How are your experience here at the famous and the prestigious Nürburgring?
Yeah, I'm feeling excited. Lap times and truck is getting better and better, and I'm just trying to have fun and learn more.
Absolutely. What is it that you can learn more? Is it really the experience and lap by lap getting better?
Yeah, I guess just I need some laps and trying to get better setups to track.
Absolutely. The setup is always the great theme, but also the design of your truck is really nice. The matte croc is very special.
Yeah, the matte croc is very, I like the truck, and the matte croc is very good drink.
How do you communicate with Steffi Halm? She told us yesterday that you're talking a lot about setup, for example.
Sorry?
About Steffi Halm, how is it, how you communicate? How do you help each other?
Steffi has helped me by watching my Ingas and compare our datas.
Thank you very much. Emma Mäkinen, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
It's great to have Emma on the grid this weekend. Like I said, she's trying to get as much experience in as she can in racing these machines and hopes to follow in her father's footsteps at being a very, very quick truck racing driver as well. So the session continues and all of the drivers that we have are making their way round, but it's Norbert Kish currently fastest, Jochen Hahn second, Sascha Lenz third, then it's Adam Lachko, Antonio Albuquerque, Steffi Halm, Teo Calve, the fastest Promoters Cup driver, Andrei Kurzim in his customary 8th position once again, and then we have Shane Brereton and Lucas Hahn just behind. Lucas will be looking for a little bit of improvement from 10th on the grid, but I'm sure that one man that isn't worried about improvement right now is Norbert Kish. It looks to me like he's quite happy with where he currently is on the grid, which is right at the top. He's just slowing it down and pulling into the pit lane. And, okay, so Norby has been given a black flag with, well, it's a black and orange flag as it's known, for engine smoke. And he's just driven around the bollard at the end of the pit lane there. I'm intrigued to see whether he carries on, actually, because you're not supposed to enter the pit lane after that bollard. We'll see if he comes around. Yeah, he is coming back around again, so he's continuing. Now, if he does improve, I'm not sure whether the lap time will stand here, because the black and orange flag basically means you have to come in and sort out whatever it is, unless it has been given to him as a warning. We still have a look, though, at the beautiful Iveco S-Way of Jochen Hahn, 6-time champion in this championship. At the start of the weekend, he took his 266th podium. And this race this afternoon is going to be his 629th start. 629. That's a lot of races that Jochen Hahn has done. He's won championships on the bounce before. 11, 12 and 13 he won it. He won in 2016, 2018 and 2019. Between him and Norbert Kish, they account for 9 of the last 10 championship victories. Adam Lachko, one of the others, in 2017. You can hear tyres squealing away somewhere around the circuit. And importantly, Norbert Kish has had his lap time deleted. Now, if you see on the left-hand side, Norby has not got a valid time on the board. So clearly with that black and orange flag coming out due to the smoke, then that means that the lap has not counted. So he's got on with another one now, and he's only got a minute left before he'll cross the line and potentially start another lap. So across the line goes Jochen Hahn. Does he improve? He's done a personal best in Sector 1. And he does the fastest lap of the session, a 1:53.667. It's a purple time, a purple Sector 3 for Jochen Hahn. Sascha Lenz crosses the line, does a 1:53.9. He had a personal best Sector 1 and 3, but Sector 2 has let him down quite a lot. It's a new personal best for Steffi Halm. She moves up there. Norbert Kish goes back fastest, though, a 1:53.539. Beautiful. It's not even purple sectors from him in any of those sectors, but just overall the lap was better, and he takes it by just over 1/10 of a second. More personal bests coming in from Albuquerque, Halm, Calve, Andrei Kurzim having a personal best. Norbert Kish's time deleted again because of the black smoke rule. So because of the fact that the emissions coming out, oh no, it looks like he's been reinstated maybe. A lot of confusion now as the timer hits 0. We'll have to wait and see whether that does stand and whether we do get Norbert Kish on pole. I'll wait for definite confirmation. But it's back up there on the timing tower, and that's what I can tell you as a matter of fact for now. It was gone for a moment and then put back in place. And the engineer of Norbert Kish is actually down there with Christina now. Christina.
Yeah, black and orange flag. You're not in the mood for interview. Thanks for stepping by. What happened exactly?
Well, to be fair, I'm not quite sure. In the past of the season, we had no problem with the smoke, or not, at least not serious problem with the smoke. But it is a judge of fact, so if someone sees that it's smoking, then it is smoking, so we have to do another lap. Luckily, there was still enough in our tires that we were still able to do the pole position.
That was my second question. How are the tires and the management still for? Because I know you normally go for 1 or 2 fast laps.
Yes, exactly. But as you see, we had a pretty confident gap in the first fast lap of 0.6 seconds. So the second lap was already slower by half a second, but luckily it was still enough to have a 0.1 gap in the pole position.
Thank you very much. So purple is better than black, isn't it, Chas?
It is indeed, but I don't really want to be the one to tell Szabo that the lap has been removed again. Jochen Hahn is back on pole position according to the timing tower now with a 1:53.667, and Norbert is being told to come in. And I mean, at the end of the day, like he said there, it is a matter of fact. You know, if it is smoking, it is smoking, and they have to sort that out. So it's perfectly fair. And at the end of the day, this is motorsport. It doesn't always go the same way. But they've not had problems with it before, as mentioned. So it does seem a little bit odd when it does come out of the blue for these teams, and that's why it can be very frustrating. So Norbert Kish goes into the pits, and I think for the first time in a long time, we will see him not be starting on pole position. It was he and Jochen Hahn that took all of the pole positions last season. And there's a black and white flag, a deletion of the current lap time for Shane Brereton. So Shane's had his most recent lap time deleted, but I believe he will still hold on to 8th place. However, it's a good weekend to have Hahn as your surname, isn't it? Lucas taking the win. Yesterday, he's made it through into Superpole again and gets 9th on the grid for today's first race. But Jochen Hahn takes his first pole position of the season here on home soil in the Iveco at the Nürburgring. It does not get much better than that, does it? He was very, very close all the way through that session, right behind Norbert Kish. But you can imagine now that Norby will be definitely frustrated. But I'm still spinning it in a positive way. I'm excited to see how he can come through in the first race from 10th on the grid, because admittedly, that's even further back than a reverse grid would be as well, because if you win the first race of the day, you get reversed to 8th position on the grid. And apparently, there was a bit of a mistake on our timing screen there, because Sasha Lenz has done the shorter in-lap. It said that Sasha had done a 1:37, which would have been about 25 seconds clear of everybody. But he has just been reinstated in second place. Lachko and Alberthetti make up the second row. Then it's Steffi Halm and Theo Calve. Andre Kurzim and Shane Brereton will share row 4. And then we'll have Lucas Hahn and Norbert Kish. Jamie Anderson and Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort not getting lap times in the end, unfortunately. But we look forward to seeing how everybody gets on in the first race of the day. 2 races coming up for you. The first one set by this initial qualifying session. And the second one, of course, the top 8 on the grid will be reversed based on their finishing positions. Some of the trucks are just going through scrutineering at the moment, and a number of the teams will all make their way down to check it all out, see how everything is going, make sure the drivers are happy, make sure the organisers are happy as well, and everyone will reconcile ahead of the first race. Beautiful conditions once again here at the Nürburgring. The sun is absolutely beating down on the circuit. You can see one of the team members there in the pit lane just checking the temperature of the tarmac. It's rising very, very quickly at this place. There is quite a bit of wind, but at the end of the day, it's only really cooling the people down and not the circuit, to be honest with you. You can just see Sasha Lenz's truck there making his way into scrutineering as the tractor comes round to start clearing up the circuit. There's a lot of gravel and dust gets kicked up here at the Nürburgring, and they do an amazing job at keeping it clean. There is your final result from qualifying then. Jochen Hahn will take pole position with Sasha Lenz alongside him, an all-German front row. with 2 drivers on home soil. Adam Lachko next up alongside Antonio Alberthetti. Then we have Steffi Halm and Teo Calve on row 3. Andre Kurzim and Shane Brereton are 7th and 8th, with Lucas Hahn 9th. And we have Jose Rodriguez showing in 10th position. I'm pretty sure we will still see Norby there because he did get through into Superpole. Anthony Janiek will start, I believe, in 12th, with Stefan Fast behind him. Then it's Louis Requenco and Heinrich Clemens-Hecker. Emma Mäkinen and Stefan Kirsch round out your field. Shane Brereton just making his way into scrutineering now on the left-hand side of your screen. And it'll soon be time for everybody to get prepared for the first race of the day. It's quite the packed schedule today, actually. There's a couple of different championships going on. I'm also going to be covering the Prototype Cup Germany as well very soon, which has been another great championship to have on the bill this weekend. Another very noisy championship as well, actually. They give our trucks a run for their money with the fantastic sound that they make. But we have the first race this afternoon starting at 20 to 2. That's when the race gets underway. The green flag lap starts about 5 minutes before that, though, just after 1:30. And we should be going live roughly this afternoon. I'm going to say roughly because you never know with these things. There you go. 1:10 in the afternoon, and the second one starts at 4:20. Now, this was the moment where Norbert Kish, I imagine, was on the radio getting told, you know, you need to come in, you need to fix it. And he was saying, but there's no smoke. We could go out and do another lap. And you can see there is the decision. As he moves to the left of the bollard, comes back out onto the circuit, manages to slot in between Steffi Halm and Adam Lachko, and then get on with another fast lap. But as mentioned, it's not a very long session, the Superpole session, so they need to make the most of it whenever they can. So Norbert, of course, eager to make sure that he was on track for as long as possible, putting in as many times as possible while the tyres still had some life in them. And the gravel and the dust all being kicked up, you can see it all across the circuit. Now, until you've stood in a gravel track at a gravel trap, I should say, at a racing circuit, you can't understand how deep and how difficult they are to move through, even when you're just walking through them as well. It's absolutely amazing. But the stones within them are really huge as well. You would have thought it'd be all like fine sand, but it's really not. It's humongous pieces of stone and gravel, which can get kicked up quite a lot. We've seen a few times, because of how flat the front of these trucks are, if a truck ahead goes off at a high-speed part of a circuit or just kicks up a lot of that gravel, you can get almost bullet holes through the front of the windscreen. They really are quite nasty little projectiles at certain times. But now you can see the clean-up operation beginning, which is great to see because the championship and all the organisers here at the ADAC always look after this circuit so well. And they take real pride in their tracks and making sure that everything is well looked after. So we're just waiting for a couple of drivers and other team members to maybe emerge at the end of the session, so we can get Christina to have a word with them and see what they made of that session. And understandably, some of them maybe not as chuffed as we might have seen them this morning. And we have Christina down there. Have you found anybody yet, Christina, or is it another empty paddock?
There's a song in the waiting line. I feel like this. We're waiting here with lots more journalists, also with pink vest on. You always see also fellow comrades from us here. And Jochen Hahn is missing, and the truck is not a small piece. So we're thinking maybe he is in the garage there, because up down there, one of our colleagues, Thorsten, is waiting for Jochen Hahn. We're down here at the paddock. But just sometimes, you know, even a truck can get lost. I don't know how, but it did.
Yeah, that's the thing. They are very, very big pieces of equipment. But yeah, it's sometimes actually quite hard to track them down in the paddock. So much goes on in a racing paddock, you see, that there's never really a definite place that somebody will be. You know, drivers could either be in race control, they could either be doing an autograph session or with the media or filming interviews with brands or meeting clients and customers and different partners and so on. There's always so much going on at these events, and it is wonderful. But when you're trying to track somebody down for media purposes or do pictures or interviews or whatever, it can be an absolute nightmare sometimes. As I said, elusive is the word. Drivers are very elusive in the paddock. It's just suddenly come back to me what I was trying to say earlier. However, Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz, an all-German front row here at the Nürburgring, that's going to go down very, very well with the fans and everybody else. Adam Lachko and Antonio Albacete, another Titan row 2 as well. Both of them, between them, have 4 championships. Steffi Halm and Theo Calve are on row 3, really looking to prove themselves even more this weekend and get some strong points on the board. Theo is doing a good job so far this weekend of reigniting his Promoters' Cup championship charge. The 3 of them, Jamie Anderson, Shane Brereton and Theo Calve, only separated, I think, by 5 points at this current moment. It is incredibly close between those guys. We had a bit of a titanic fight last season with Brereton and Calve, but this year Jamie Anderson's in the mix as well. And Christina, have you got company?
Company not yet, but as you can see down there is the number 4, which is the truck of Jochen Hahn, the famous Iveco. And of course there are lots of people around here who's driving very, very slowly, maybe enjoying that he was the pole setter for this race here on home ground. Oh, he's waving to lots of people, waving. No, it's not himself, so sorry. No, it is one of his engineers. We should take a ride like this, sit there at the back. But where is the driver? So we found the truck at least, but the driver is still missing. Maybe he's at race direction or something. I don't know, Chaz. So do you see anything?
Well, I've got another screen here. We have what's called Fan TV on this weekend, and it's a fantastic production that covers pretty much everything that's going on at the racetrack. But unfortunately, I do not see anybody in picture at the moment. I can actually see our managing director, Georg Fuchs, having an interview with Ollie as part of the Fan TV in the Innovation Camp at the moment. And the Innovation Camp has been wonderful to see again this weekend. We've got all sorts of trucks down there with hybrid powertrains, electric trucks, and even a hydrogen-powered truck as well from Hyundai that has made its way down this weekend. It's amazing to see all of the technology that's coming forward and really following this sustainability narrative that the championship carries with it oh so well. Absolutely amazing to have it. We are going to have a look back, though, at how the session all unfolded, and we'll take a look back before we say goodbye. It's another one of our beautiful drone shots from Lewis. He's been an absolute star this weekend. It's always good to see him. But Norbert Kish, well, he set the pace early on, and he set the pace, admittedly, in the final Super Pole session as well. Jamie Anderson will be starting from the back after some power steering issues, which is another real shame, another big hit to his weekend. But still, Jochen Hahn takes pole position here at the Nürburgring in front of his home crowd. Alongside him will be Sascha Lenz, and we all will be holding our breath, waiting to see how Norbert Kish can make his way through the field. We hope you're having a fantastic weekend so far, and we hope you will join us for both of the races this afternoon. It's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. There's certainly going to be some hard door-to-door battling. But for now, I've been Chaz Draycott. I will hand back down to Christina, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Have a good one.
Sometimes you can't finish a race, even as a reporter. So no Jochen Hahn here. But you know what? We do got the second live stream, as Chaz also pointed out. We do see the race number 1 of this day. So this is race number 3 in total in this weekend at the Nürburgring. Such great fun seeing all the people here. The paddock is packed. Over 100,000 fans attending this weekend here in the Eifel. So please tune in ahead of race 1, and I think we know where to find Jochen Hahn then. I am sure. Bye-bye.